Washington, D.C. Recreation Department. And it's one of those jobs that are designed to give you a check and just play with those kids over there. And I was in a part of Washington that was a tough part of Washington, right off of North Capitol. And I was familiar with that neighborhood because I spent a little bit of my youth in that neighborhood. And at that time, my brother was, he was driving. We had one car. He was the older brother, so he drove it. And he took me to work it was first day of work. And we got to literally right out in front of my new job at this recreation center in DC, and the police pull up behind me and they stop me. And this is again 1973. My brother is a real hothead, still is. And the police stopped us, broken tail light kind of thing, got us out of the car, and realized that they search you. Well, at that time, if you didn't do some things, you were probably on the other side. But my brother had a joint on him. And so, at that time, if you're in that situation, they arrest everybody. And so here I am on the first day of my job, right in front of my new employer, and I'm being handcuffed. Now, I thought about that because, who you know is important in life. And they took me to jail in Washington, D.C. It happened to be my first day, it was a Friday. And the police basically said to me when I got down to the jail, and this was, if you're in a rough part of town to begin with, you're going to be in a rough jail. And the police were saying, and I was 18-year-old and scared. It's just Friday night. If you don't get out of here by noon, you're going to be in trouble. Because you're going to be here all weekend. And so, again, who you know is important. As many of you know, I was born in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Well, my father, who is an attorney and was very active in the 1960s in the civil rights movement, had a very close friend who was also from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, whose name was Wiley Branton, and I encourage you to look him up. Wiley Branton worked on the case of Brown versus Education and was a colleague of Thurgood Marshall, who became Supreme Court Justice. He was a family friend. And so Attorney Branton went to the judge and said, you got to let those boys go. And they let us go, no charges. And I thought what woke me up was, what would have been the situation if there were 1,000 Wiley Brantons? How many lives, how many people could have not had their lives ruined? I was fortunate. But what woke me up, what kept me up was, just think of how decisions affect your path. Just think how, if it weren't for certain things to break the certain way, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I feel very fortunate to be here today. And I sent my wife an email at 3 o'clock that morning because I was in Boston and she was here in Connecticut. And because I went to the web and I went up and looked at Wiley Branton. And what I found was Wiley Branton was a mentor to Vernon Jordan. And Vernon Jordan is retired now, but he was on the board of Xerox where my wife works. And my wife knows Vernon very well. So I sent her a note and said, I think you should share this with Mr. Jordan, in which she did. And I told her in the note to tell Mr. Jordan that his mentor played a role in my life. And as I was preparing for this week, I thought about all of the opportunities that corporations here today have the opportunity to make a tremendous difference in the lives of minority business owners in ways that you can never imagine.